Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Atlanta Sea Colony live stream. My name is Adam Jewell, and with me, as always, is my best buddy, Brendan Traxler. I'm getting good about the pointing direction.
You are.
I
You're
know
getting
where to
everything
go
down.
now. Brendan, how are you? Sorry. I knew that was going to come up. Brendan, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing fine. How are you doing?
I'm on the up and up. For those of you who aren't close friends with me and have seen my Facebook, I have or had, I don't know if I'm over it yet, COVID. So that's been my deal the last week. I'd say since Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday night.
2 weeks.
Tuesday night is when I started feeling like junk. So it's been a week.
Well,
but for the most part,
I threw a hamper on your new job too.
Yeah, today was supposed to be my first day of my new job, but due to policy and all that, I have to wait one more extra week. So, whatevs. Just chilling at home.
Yeah.
Sleeping. Avoiding everybody else in my family so they don't get sick.
Sleep, NyQuil. That's the key right there.
My sleep schedule has been so messed up. Like, I was so tired last night. Usually you and I play a game or something at night.
Yeah.
And like I went to bed like at 8:30 last night, which is super, super early for me. And then I woke up like at 12:30, and then I couldn't go back to sleep until like 7. Like I helped my wife get the kids ready for school, kinda. And then I went back to sleep. And then I slept till lunch. And yeah. So I need to get that under control before I start my new job.
You think?
Might help. Anyways,
yes.
What else has been new? Is this our?
This is our very first 120. Yeah.
This is our
Happy
first.
New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year, guys.
And I even got in my notes here that Happy New Year.
Well, I had to look at the schedule, like, because I've already forgot what day it is. I'm just like, is this our first live stream of the New Year? Yeah, it is. 4th today. So yeah, this is the first live.
Hope everybody had a good New Year's Eve and day after. Yeah.
What did you get up to? But me and you were playing games New Year's Eve.
Yeah. Yes, as the ball dropped multiple times.
Yeah. We were up playing video games during live stream. My kids and wife went to bed early that day, and so yeah, it was just me.
Glenn. Yep. 2022. Yeah. Is that like because we don't know what year it is, or is that like you're not looking forward to it? What does that mean there?
It's already been off to a crazy start, that's for sure. But
very true.
For those of you who haven't noticed, I'm wearing my Cincinnati Bengals jersey, and I got my Cincinnati Bengals mug because they are in the playoffs for the first time in like 5 years. So I'm pretty excited about that.
I am really older this year.
That and my ASC shirt's in the wash right now.
Glenn says he's really older this year.
Just you, or is everybody else going to be a little bit older this year too? I'm going to hit 33 this year in just like a month and a half. It's gross.
I mean, Jesus died when he was 33, so there is that.
Ugh. Do we know that for a fact, though?
I mean, that's one of those numbers that are pretty solid.
Or is that for a different live stream that we should do?
That's a different live stream there. But
let's talk about the facts and life of Jesus on Atlanta Sea Colony.
It becomes like theological talk. Glenn's gonna be 71.
71. That's the new 54. I mean, when you think about
that's what I say.
You're only as old as you feel, I think is how it
when people ask me my age online, I say I'm 98, but I look like a young 70-year-old because 70 is the new 50.
Okay. Really thought you were going to take that in a different direction, but anyways, Brendan, what are we getting up to this week?
So,
you had a theme that you wanted to go with, and I don't know much about this, so I'm going to kind of I'm coming along for the ride.
So, Metaverse is all the hubbub. It has been for the last couple of months since Facebook, or now Meta, made their big announcement, and Microsoft was doing one as well. And so the Metaverse is Internet 3.0 is what they're calling it. And the way that they explain it a little bit is basically when the Internet first came out back in the 80s and really became proficient in the 90s, all you could pretty much do was text. It was just text-based stuff on there. If you want to do images, good job sitting around waiting 10 minutes for that sucker to download. So it was pretty much all text-based information. Then as internet speed started getting faster and faster, you started getting images and videos involved with that, stuff like that. But still, even then, with the videos, it still had a buffer, or you had to download them and stuff along those lines. And then once as the internet speeds got better, the technology got better, then you started doing live streaming, and we get more people on live. Well, then now with the advent of 5G coming online, and everybody has high-speed broadband and stuff along those lines, and the technology is there. Now we're going into a more of an immersive world, which is the metaverse. And the metaverse definition is that it's a network of 3D virtual worlds focused on social connection. I don't truly buy that, but that's basically what they're going with, because with the metaverse, it's everybody thinks of put on your VR goggles, disappearing into a three-dimensional world and chatting with people and stuff along those lines. But it ends up being a whole lot more than that. But that's basically what I want to talk about is what is the metaverse and how does it come into play with what we're doing and what could happen with oceans and other ocean technologies and other ocean corporations. And to that extent, gaming too. You got VR games like Subnautica. But it's much more than that. And so that's kind of what I want to talk about tonight.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, I'm going to learn a lot along the way because I haven't tuned in as much to this metaverse thing as I should. I feel like I'm at that age now where it's just like, there's like kind of a cutoff point of where it's the next generation's deal to like be really a proficient and understanding of like the technology. Kind of like I'm at the age that I feel like my dad was at, like when computers started becoming like a household thing, where it's just like you learn the basics, but it's like ultimately your kids are going to be the one that they're going to teach you a few things. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I still can learn a few things yet. But
I think the thing with the metaverse and what we'll talk about a little bit is that it's not a gaming system. It's not gaming.
Right.
It's more than that. It's basically commerce. I saw somebody talking and it says that people who are broke in the real world will be multimillionaires in the metaverse, and vice versa. You'll have multimillionaires in the real world who will be broke in the metaverse. It's because it is a whole entire different universe that you can build off of. And I don't want to spend this whole time talking about the ins and outs of the metaverse because I want to get to what we're trying to get to. But it is a platform and I foresee it as being a huge marketing platform because you're, as a business, you will be able to show off your creation or add to your creation or your business in the metaverse. Like, for example, my dad's bookstore. I've already talked to him about, can we somehow incorporate a virtual bookstore into this? Facebook, Meta, already has their Horizons, which is basically their own public meeting area where you make your avatar, you go in there, you hang out with people, you talk, you share ideas. And they have a business location too so as now everybody's moving more and more to home working and Zoom calls, eventually you'll be able to do that in a more virtual setting and incorporate holograms or video and avatars and all that kind of stuff into it. So it'd be a hodgepodge of all that. And it seems like a lot, and it is a lot. And it's very confusing very quickly. But I think that if we grasp it and if we can get on to board with it and understand what it is now in the infancy of it, it's like the internet in the early days. People became super rich very fast in the early days of the internet because they understood it and they were able to jump on and access this new technology. And the same thing with this. As Atlanta Sea Colony and as other ocean companies out there, this is a prime opportunity for us to use the metaverse to promote who we are, to get out there and to really make a change, I guess.
Okay.
You're really not going to put anything back in this, are you?
I'm still learning. Like I said, dude, I have not connected a whole lot with this. Like, so from what I've understood is like just a lot of VR incorporation, but the conversations we've had outside of this is that it is more of an immersive, like there's just going to be a lot more to it where, like you were just saying, like where you can start incorporating business into it. You can start using it as a meeting space, as a, like it would be an equivalent of having like Zoom things, except for your
dimensionals.
Yeah. In a different area. And it's that kind of technology that seems weird at first, and it doesn't seem practical until it's already the thing that's taken over. Kind of like early on, people were not thinking like touch phones were going to be
100%.
Like they thought the iPhone was going to be like, well, what the heck's this all about? Like, it's just like, why would you do that? But now it's become the way of life, really. I mean, if you don't have a smartphone, you're more than likely like someone that's never going to like enjoy technology. Like my father-in-law will not buy a touch phone. He still gets the flip phones.
And I remember when they first came out, I remember I had one and the screen wasn't solid. It was more like it gave a little bit. It was like a flimsier stuff. And I was like, there's no way that these screens will hold up to days and days of use like this. I go, they're going to break down. Of course, the technology changed and they were able to incorporate. And same thing with the metaverse. What we think of as the metaverse now, I'm sure will evolve gradually, not gradually, but vastly over the next couple of years. As Facebook is, what's he saying? I've seen. Yeah. Glenn said, I've seen several things change over my lifetime. Might be correct that this could be the next big thing. And I think the bigger thing that, like, for example, somebody sold a virtual yacht in the metaverse already for $650,000, real dollars. And so that's what I say. It's crazy because it's such a buzzword right now. And this is more of a preaching to people who want to get into business or make some quick cash. The metaverse is the way to do it right now because it's such a buzzword and everybody's hopping on board. It's some quick cash there. But I think that go.
I was going to say, like, it kind of reminds me of two things. Like, I don't know if it's still a thing going on now, but it was like about 10 to 15 years ago with Second Life. Like, that was one where, like, you could like, you had a character and you could, like, buy property, sell property for real money in that. And then I don't know much about Roblox, but I want to say, isn't that similar to where, like, people can actually, like, make, I know it's a kid's thing, but, like, can't you, like, make money and like do stuff like in that virtual world?
And so Roblox, Fortnite, all these other games like that are considered part of the metaverse. The metaverse is much more than just VR. It's anything immersive like that because you can buy virtual inventory in it. You can buy anything like that. And we're talking more games, but you get on you start getting the business aspect. Augmented reality is also part of the metaverse. I really think that's really where we're going to see the biggest stuff for businesses. And especially when it comes to the ocean come into play. The VR is very cool. And there's people out there. Casey Sapp, he's a guy I follow on Facebook, LinkedIn. I met him at Underwater Intervention 2 years. 2 years. 2 years ago. Yeah, 2 years. I met him there. And he's one of the leaders in the underwater 3D video realm. He started companies that are pushing the bleeding edge on underwater 3D. And so people like him are definitely going to do some cool stuff with it too. But the augmented reality, and any people who don't know what augmented reality is, basically it's an interactive experience in the real world where objects reside in the real world and are enhanced by computer-generated perceptual information. Take, for example, if you have Snapchat or anything like that, and you put one of those filters on there where there's somebody moving, Pokemon Go. Was
Pokemon Go, right? Yep.
Yeah, that was one big augmented reality. And I think with the business, and especially with the ocean, the way I see it is you'll have glasses. Snapchat has glasses. Google's had glasses. Microsoft's working on glasses. Facebook's working on probably glasses. Everybody's working on them. So you just wear them like your normal glasses, and in front of you is information that nobody else can see. You know, you go to the grocery store, you're looking at stuff. It may tell you the prices or the calories on it without having to look at it, or tell you, hey, there's a better deal over at Walmart when you're at Kroger, or vice versa. All that right there. And then for the ocean stuff, I really see the same thing. You're scuba diving, for example, and you're swimming by and you see a fish. The information pops up on the fish right in front of you. Or you're in your underwater habitat and you're going about business. You get alerts on, hey there,
Sorry, just readjusting my chair.
You're getting alerts on information on the habitat. Hey, oxygen pressures, all that kind of stuff. This is, I think, really where the metaverse is really going to come into play, is the augmented reality aspect of the thing. One thing that Facebook showed off was live art. So people were walking down the street and there's a wall, but somebody had created art on this wall, and by looking at it, it came to life, and you could interact with it and touch and stuff like that. So same thing with ocean, and maybe it's coral. You're out there and you're swimming, you see the coral, and you're able to project, hey, 5 years from now, here's what it's going to look like based on, and you can virtually see all that. So I think there's a lot, and we're so in the infancy of it. I don't think we can fully understand all what's going to happen with it. And what we're talking about right now may not come at all, but some version of this is going to come because there's so many people putting so much time, money behind it. There's something going to come of it.
Yeah. I think of like what you were saying with just like what it could be used for in the world of research, and like kind of I when you were talking earlier, it made me think of like, someone that's out scuba diving, or maybe someone that's just hiking or whatever. Anyways, and it's just like, you look around, like it'll identify plants, animals, insects, and be like, hey, that's a dangerous one. Like, don't go near that. Right. Or like, hey, this one's safe to eat, or whatever it is. Like, that information is instant to you as you're like seeing the stuff. So, I mean, not only could that be useful as far as like cataloging information for people that are in that field of work, but like, after you get so much information cataloged and in like some sort of data center, that's like, when you see something that's showing up no information, you might be like, oh, I might have stumbled across something. Like I might have come across something important. So I think of like a lot of the safety things of like what that could be, just because I mean, we already, when you think about it, it's where we're at just with smartphones, having smartphones on us nonstop. Like the amount of like how much safer we actually are because of that. When you think about it, like if I were to be kidnapped, which would be impossible because I'm huge, but like if I got kidnapped or something and I had my phone on me, but it's just like you can track a phone, or whatever it is, say I still had my phone, or like just being able to like have that information, or if you're lost somewhere, you can like, if you have reception, you can pull up where you're at, or you can get that information quick enough for the most part. And it's just like, so we're already one step there, from a safety point. So now just having that to where it's like instantaneous in front of your eyes and stuff too. I mean, it's mind blowing to think about, but like you said, we're in the infancy stage, but it wasn't hardly 11 years ago, 12 or 11 years ago, the iPhone came out. When the iPhone was like brand new, and I like look at how far within like, let's just say 10 years, everything like that you can do with like a smartphone, how much that's advanced just in that short amount of time. So 10 years from now, with the technology of the metaverse and all that, we could be talking about some huge things.
Yeah, and one of the questions that comes up, especially with underwater habitats and stuff like that, is if you have an emergency, a medical emergency, what do you do? Well, with AR, you could be looking at what it is and have a doctor looking through the same thing you're looking at and say, hey, here's what you need to do to fix this, or it can get vitals and everything else based off the person, just based on all this. So, like I say, there's so many different things. I think it's going to come into play that it's exciting. And I'm a big techie, so that's one reason I want to talk about this, not only because I'm a big techie, but also this is going to change the world. The internet has changed our world. I don't think anybody can argue that. And with this being, buzzword, Internet 3.0, what will this do to our world? It's important. It's important that we know about it and what it is, so we're not left behind and trying to play catch up in an ever-changing world where information changes all the time. So, and you were talking also, the data, once again, this is another thing. What's up, Wiley?
Hey, Wiley, what up, buddy? I didn't see you posting there.
He just did. data. That means there's going to be more and more. I mean, the petabytes and exabytes of data that's going to be stored to create these virtual worlds and these virtual avatars and all these virtual experiences is going to be exponentially growing over these next few years. And there's got to be data centers to store them. And once again, it goes back to offshore data, underwater, on the water, whatever. And that's once again where Atlantic Sea Colony comes in. So maybe Atlantic Sea Colony or other underwater habitats don't really partake in the metaverse, but we will benefit from them by working with big data companies to offset the data offshore.
And one thing that me and you have talked outside this, and I'd like to almost maybe eventually do an episode on it, but I'll try to sum this up so it's quick of getting to my point of what I'm trying to talk about. But so I've been listening to this one podcast episode where it's talking about how the people that have tried to like live on the ocean and stuff, like basically they're crazy. And one of the things they talk about or they mentioned is that people being out in the middle of nowhere go crazy because like, you know, they think it's like a cool idea at first, but after being away from people for so long, whatever, you know, your mind would just not go there. Well, to me, this would be one of those things that'd be like, all right, well, if you have the metaverse, you have an AR system, whatever, you can trick your mind into, you know, you can be in your habitat, you can be on your seastead, whatever it is, or, you know, if you're in a bunker somewhere, it doesn't have to be what we're talking about, but it's just like, you can get all that interaction, all that, whatever you need, that stimulation that your head needs, you know, through this now. I mean, we're already doing it if you think about it. I mean, we're already doing it with smartphones. We're doing it with all the technology we have. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, if you had absolutely nothing with you, like when you went and like lived in isolation, yeah, you probably would go crazy after a while. But it's just like, if you have nothing to like give yourself communication, interaction, and all that. But with this, I mean, really, I foresee in the future a lot of people doing most of their, I mean, a good chunk of their life through this, kind of like how we do a good chunk of our life through our phones.
Yep. And you know, the thing is, you know, same thing. Your whole you won't physically need a physical computer anymore because you'll have a virtual computer in your thing that you can do all your work on. Mm-hmm. But back to your point, I 100% agree. When you look at, say, our designs for underwater habitat, it's great, but there's not tons of room to just walk around and get your exercise and stuff like that. But if you put on a VR headset and you've got one of those pads that you walk in place and make like, it looks like a bowl almost, and you walk in and you walk in place, like a treadmill. Mm-hmm. You can get a full outside exercise and trick your mind into think you're out in the sun and doing all that kind of stuff, but you're in a steel tin can underwater. I agree. It's one of those psychological necessities, I think, moving forward. Because even as much of a hermit as I am, I know that staying underwater for a long period of time, I wouldn't be able to do it. I have to get out every once in a while and get fresh air. And so with this, you can trick your mind into a lot of that.
Yep.
And so definitely, you know, you talk about going crazy. You can have your social interaction with that too. So yeah, it's interesting that, you know, the seasteaders, us, there's so many other companies and groups working on getting ourselves away from typical land and out in the ocean or even in space. This works for space too, if you want to talk about that.
Right.
That these technologies are coming out to support the psychological effects that we're going to deal with, whether we're going to space, or we're going on the water or under the water.
Yeah. And it kind of ties in with some of the things we've been talking about on our Discord lately. We've been talking about internet access and how a lot of that would work too. So a lot of that would incorporate into that, which is, like I said, we'll throw in the link at the end of the show for that for our Discord. But yeah, it's been a topic of discussion too for, I mean, having access to that utility, I guess.
No. But when I was doing research for this show, I figured, okay, you know, I'll be able to type in some keywords. I mean, I dug for hours trying to find information on any ocean related company or organization that's doing anything with the metaverse. And there's nobody, I couldn't find anything, which is surprising. I'm sure there's got to be somebody out there doing something at least augmented reality wise with the ocean. Like I said, categorizing animals, but you know, the biology aspect of the thing, and not just making games. which it seems to be all there is right now. And those games are informational games. A lot of them are, but it's still there's so much more that can be done. And so if somebody that's out there is good at programming or building video games or building VR stuff, hop on it. Just, yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I keep going back to that, like, you're swimming around, you see something swim in front of you, and like your glasses, your screen, your visor, whatever, it's like, boop, boop, boop. Like
Right.
that's a Miko shark or whatever they are. It's like, whatever it is. And granted, I mean, that would be a pretty advanced thing to where it's just like you have to have the connectivity and something that can, because I mean, when you think about it, there's a lot of animals that look super identical but have just minor differences that separate them. So it's just like
anymore software can have all that. Yeah, you may not even need connectivity where you've got a bunch of it cached on your device or whatever it is. And
right.
I've seen some dive equipment that has heads-up displays already that goes either on your goggles or whatever. What's Glenn got here? The Crypto C. What is that, Glenn? Are you making that up, or is that something real?
Making stuff up. Just trying to get attention. I'm Googling it too.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah. So there are NFTs out there. You type in like Metaverse and Ocean and stuff like that. There's tons of NFTs that come up, which I still don't get NFTs. I think that's a waste of your money. But yeah.
I don't get it either.
Yeah, Glenn, every time I type that in, you get NFTs, which are basically pieces of artwork that you can buy with cryptocurrency and claim that you own it. So, yeah, and NFTs are going to be a big portion of owning stuff in the metaverse. And basically, an NFT is a non-fungible token, which means you own a digital, non-copyable piece of whatever it may be, whether it's art, clothing, land, etc. And there's land going for millions of dollars in the metaverse already. So there's a lot of it. I think we're too early on to be for some of this, but at the same time, like I say, now's a great time to be making money too, because you can
just
take advantage of people.
To give everybody a heads up, this is an NFT, this picture here, and the highest bid right now is for $11,366. Tell them this picture to have the rights to that picture.
Exactly.
$11,000. I don't get
it. Maybe I'll start NFTing our some of our artwork.
We got to do something.
Why not?
Whatever works, man. NFT the heck out of it.
We'll fund the colony through NFTs. I mean, I don't know, but yeah. So there's like I said, Glenn, just right there. There was just so many aspects and so much to it. You just love that dog, don't you?
Shiba Inu.
Yes. Yeah, Glenn, exactly. Like I say, now is the time to hop on this until it gets cemented and everybody understands what it is, and the rules to it, and really what works and what doesn't work. People are just throwing stuff at it and making money left and right. I've seen people making hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars off of selling artwork, NFT artwork and stuff along those lines.
Right. That cool. like it's one of those things where is this a what do they call it? Like a meme revenue generator thing,
right?
Where it's just like, think of like Dogecoin. Dogecoin was, I mean, when you think about it, people were never going to use Dogecoin as a form of currency. It was like,
you can buy stuff off of Elon Musk's store with Dogecoin.
Okay, well, we can get into this discussion that Elon Musk likes to do funny things though too.
Yeah,
and I mean, Bitcoin is like a legit cryptocurrency where people have been using that for like a decade now, if not longer. I can't remember when it started, but it's just like now it is so easy, and there's so many different types of cryptocurrencies to where it's like, okay, like now it's like so, the market's so saturated where it's just like, okay, well, there's only one true, like, so to me, it's just like, is the NFT thing going to be the same thing? But also, strike while the iron's hot type deal to where if we can find a way to, before it fades off, whatever, if we can make money to get this thing funded and off the ground by selling some fun pictures of dogs and And what's the other one? Apes. Apes are the big thing, I think, right now.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think there's a bunch of NFT apes. But I'll tell you what, I would never pay thousands. Me personally would never pay thousands of dollars just to be like, yeah, that's my picture.
Yeah,
I
I'm
can
so
copy and paste it. Like, nope, but it's mine.
Yeah. But hey, since you're off sick right now, I want you to do some research on some NFTs over the next couple of days.
I'm good.
All right, fine. I will then.
Oh, and I'm looking at one now where it's this dog with rainbow teeth, and that one's at $25,000.
Hey, but you could be the proud digital owner of that.
I just don't get it.
I know. Because yes, I can screenshot that sucker right now and own it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is it's like I wonder if I can.
It's like artwork. They say that the rich people in the world they hide their assets by offshore accounts and by buying real expensive paintings and artwork and stuff. I think it's the same thing.
I literally just right clicked and save image as. So it's just like technically I have that, but it's like.
But you don't own that.
No, I don't own it, but like I could put it into a Word document or something like that.
Yeah.
There's probably a lot more to it than what we are understanding, but it's just like
maybe it was like maybe like a sub column in our Discord about NFTs.
Just so someone can explain it to us.
Yeah, because I've heard tons of stuff. I just don't get it. But anyway, we're completely off the rails at this point in time talking about what we're talking about. But like I said, it still has to deal with the metaverse. And once again, it maybe it is. If we can get in now, it is a way we could fund Atlanta Sea Colony. So, if anybody out there understands NFTs and explains to me why it makes any sense whatsoever, I'd love to hear it, because to me, it's a crock.
Yep. Yes, sir. I'm not seeing the value of any of this, but whatever.
And everybody said, I was watching some TED Talks and stuff on it, trying to understand it more. And they're saying the big thing is because it's decentralized and because it's run by blockchain, and that's how the metaverse is going to be as well, because it's going to be decentralized. And that's really what's going to be the big thing that's separating it out from everything else. Because right now, say World of Warcraft, we both played that. Mm-hmm. We spent tons of money to develop these awesome characters with all this elite stuff. If WoW shuts its servers off, we've lost everything we've done, because Blizzard owns all that stuff. But in the metaverse and with NFTs and stuff, it's not owned by anybody because it's run by blockchain, which I still disagree with.
Yeah.
Still so, but that's how it's explained to me from what I've read and listened to. It's very confusing. And we're living in a very awesome and confusing time.
That's one way to put it.
But anyway.
Pardon my COVID.
But hey, if anybody does want to get on the Discord, and chat with us about these things and put feedback in there, there's the link. We would gladly love to have you guys come in there, because there are some great conversations in there. Sometimes there's lulls for a day or so, but what are you doing?
I don't know where I'm pointing.
But yeah, but we do have some good stuff. As I say, as it continues to grow, it'll be better.
Yeah.
We got a couple dozen people in there now, so.
Yeah, I was just looking. What do we have? About close to 30. So.
Is there?
Yeah.
Yeah, with the bots.
Let's say 25, because we do have a couple bots. Don't ruin this for me, okay?
All right, I'm sorry. So yeah,
you didn't even use the.
Oh, you didn't use them. Oh man. So yes, in closing, the metaverse is projected to be the next step in the evolution of the internet. It can be a powerful marketing tool. It can be a powerful tool to enhance any business, but specifically looking at what we're doing and what other organizations are doing for the ocean, for biology, for categorizing stuff, for schematics, as we're designing and building it. If 5 years from now, if we had technology from 5 years from now, we could have an overlay of what we're doing. You look at real estate. You can, once we're building underwater habitats, you can have somebody put on a VR headset and walk through their future habitat to design it. Hey, I want this here, I want that there. You can move it, you can design it, and then boom, send it off.
Mm-hmm.
You're living in a virtual world to send it off. That's not so much metaverse, but it all lies in the same technology and the same thing. What's Glenn got here? No such thing as bad press or media acknowledgement. Any public sighting is good for recognition. It holds value.
I'll argue that. I do think there's such thing as bad press.
I don't know. It gets your name out there.
I could find ways for us to get bad press. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna take my shirt off right now. I'm kidding. I was just adjusting my seat again. Sorry. But yeah, I understand what he means.
Yeah.
Having the name out there, and that's something me and you go back and forth on a lot because I'm the one that's always a little bit more skeptical about a lot of the how we get our name out there and stuff. So, but at the same time, like Glenn said, having the name in a spot that maybe catches the right eye is the right thing for business.
So yeah, I'd love to hear people's comments and feedback on the metaverse, how they think it's going to interact with their life, personal life, business life, and ideas for us as far as for the ASC colony too, how we can best make use of it. One of my things here very soon is to get a VR headset and to really start tinkering around in there and get more accustomed to it so that I can, be more knowledgeable than I am right now on it.
What kind of avatar are you going to have? Like a scuba diver?
I don't know. We'll see.
Like a Shiba Inu dog?
That's it right there. But NFT version only.
Yeah, there you go. NFT avatars. Now we're getting complex.
The guy on TED Talk I was watching, his avatar he said, "This is my NFT avatar."
Whatever. Someday I'm going to watch TED Talk.
So, one thing before we do close here, before you do the rundown, hopefully I'll have some announcements in the next week or two, but our contact over in Turkey, him and me had a really good call yesterday. I got another one with him tomorrow morning talking about an event putting together. He's basically put together. And as soon as he gives me the okay to really talk about it, it's going to be a cool event. It's going to be a virtual event. I don't think it's going to be open to the public. We're still detailing that. But there's going to be some big names supposedly at this thing talking about underwater habitats. So as soon as he gives me okay, I will blast you guys with as much information as I can about it. I'm trying to talk to him. What?
It's a weird way to put it.
Try to convince him to do it live so that everybody else can be involved, at least watch it. But that's where we're at with the whole thing. But yeah, that's all I got, guys. It's hard. Like I said, this was a hard one to get hard information on, like I said, again, because it's so infancy and there's just nobody out there doing much in our field, which is the problem with our field in general. Whenever I try to explain it, or, even when I was trying to class the LLC, is like, how do I class this business? We're developing underwater habitats. There's not a class for that. So it took me a while to figure out the classing. And same thing, you talk to people, well, you got to do marketing. How do you market something that doesn't exist or has never existed before? So it's one of the struggles of our business. Is one
of the many.
Yep, diving into the unknown. Take it home, Adam.
I'm gonna blast them with our links. Hold on. Yeah, can't laugh. That's
what you get.
It's one thing I've said about the only bad thing I've dealt with having COVID is that if I laugh, I go into a coughing fit and come close to death. Anyways, AtlanticColony.com, guys. That's where you're going to be able to find all of our information, all of the links to our social medias, your Facebooks, your Instagrams, your Twitters, your LinkedIns, your TikToks, your YouTubes, your whatever it is. It's all on there. You'll find the link to our Discord on there. You'll find a link also to our merch store, AtlanticColony.com/merch. A lot of cool stuff over there.
And we got some more coming out. I haven't even told you about that. I've already ordered another image.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Once I start up my new job and I have some spending money again, I would like to get some more ASC stuff. I need to order
Hey,
an ASC face mask because I need one for my new job.
real quick, Bruno's Kid 1 just started following us on Twitch. If that's still you watching there, man, thank you for the follow.
Who?
On Twitch. We got a new follower on Twitch.
Oh, tweet. We don't get a lot of interaction from the Twitch side, so that's cool.
Yeah.
Anyways, as I was going through it, paypal.me/LenaCCollin. If you want to make a one-time donation, you can either do that, which is a very simple, easy way to go about it. Or if you do the Cash App route, you can do $ Atlanta Sea Colony. Either one of those are good options. And that information is also available on Atlanta Sea Colony. Or if you want to join our a monthly subscription type basis of donating, you can go to www.patreon.com/Atlanta Sea Colony. That link is also on our website, but it's also right here. So for like $5 a month, you guys can help us out. These are our current patrons. We got Edward Haas, Brian Acosta, S. Babe Hyde, Matthew Cathy, and Martin Reese. So thank you guys for your support on the Patreon.
And the Patreon, if you've been there recently, it's going through some changes. I have eliminated the $1. I'm getting ready to put the higher dollar tiers, and they're going to be a little bit different. I think they're going to be 15 and 25. And the reason for that is because it'll be 5, 15, 25. Is what I'm thinking. I'm still playing with those because there's perks through Patreon for those dollar figures that we can offer. So you and me need to talk about that a little bit more.
Okay.
So we'll talk about that here in a bit, but I think that's probably what we're going to do.
Perfect. So anyways, that kind of stuff helps us, raise a little bit of money, helps us with the day-to-day stuff of maintaining Atlanta Sea Colony, doing the live stream, maintaining the website, getting stuff for the stores, and still putting a little bit aside with for the habitat itself. So
Yep.
everything helps, and we appreciate anybody that can do that and help us out. Other than that, Brennan, I don't got anything else for this week. Next week, do we have an idea of what's going on for next week yet? I
don't. I need to get with Babe, see if we're going to be ready to do one of his yet or not. I don't think he's ready next week yet. I think he's still going to work.
Okay.
So, yeah, we'll have to see.
Sounds good. But you know what?
Yeah,
we'll definitely let you guys know ahead of time anyways.
Absolutely.
That way it's not always a surprise. But thank you guys for hanging out with us, and we'll see you next Tuesday. Bye.
Alrighty. Bye.